All right. All right. Yeah. Oh, there you are. All right. Oh, that's what. Okay. All right. Let's get your attention. We're going to continue with Jamie and Angel from Securitas. So we're going to do this a little more civilly than the last one, or we'll end up in the same place. And this is information that you guys need, information you've been asking about, education on what different services are provided. So we sat through this. Very impressive on what they do, how they do it. So with that, I'm going to invite Jamie up. But like I said, let's keep questions down. At the end of it, we'll have questions in regards to security and to the services they provide. So with that, Jamie.
Hello, my name is Jamie Dornack, and I am the Business Development Manager for Securitas Security Services in Houston. We've been asked, as Brett pointed out, to come out here and talk to you about our services, us along with, I don't know how many competitors provided a proposal. And I thought, pardon me? All right. If you'll start going through this. So my business partner here, Angel Flores, is here with me tonight. He's the district manager that would oversee your account and make sure that everything is serviced to your satisfaction. I am speaking as loud as I probably can. Up higher? Does that help? All right, there we go. All right, so I don't know how much y'all know about Securitas. We're also known by Pinkerton. We are the oldest, the largest security company in the world. We are in 190 countries. We employ 112,000 people in the United States, about 370,000 worldwide. We were the first security company in the world. So our meeting objectives are the organization overview, our transition, our strategic partnership, what we think we can bring to the table here that you do not have right now, employee benefits, retention, things that, they're the training and such that they're probably not getting because they're locally here. You can pass through. Okay, so here's just a 10,000 overview of our company. So we got Securitas USA, Securitas Mobile. We have our own mobile division. We have electronic security, which provides most of the cameras for the big accounts, such as the World Freedom Tower, Bank of America. Many of the big buildings, we cover. And then Pinkerton, which is our risk management. We're headquartered in We're headquartered in New Jersey. Go back to. You just go forward, okay. And there you have it. Okay, right there. All right, so we have 575 branch managers, or district managers is what they're called now. We have 250 offices in the United States. We're $4 billion in North America. We're about $11 billion worldwide. Okay, there we go. This kind of gives you an overview of our maps. Wherever you have a population of people, we have an office. We're also specialized. We have aviation. We have oil, gas, petroleum. We have government, healthcare. We just signed up Methodist Hospital. We started that this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sure you will probably see some of our security guards there. Some of our big accounts. We've already kind of gone over that one. Okay, so the way our offices work, back when I was mentioning Angel, he would be your district manager. He'll be out here, he'll be working, making sure that the guards have everything they need, their training. The training is a very big issue. I don't know how much training you guys are getting based on what the overview that we've seen, if any. There's a huge liability for not having the training and having a weapon. So those things Angel would oversee. We have an area vice president, which is the next layer of management, and then after that, our region president. So we're a very flat organization. Keep going. Keep going. So one of the first things we would want to do when we come out here is to do a risk assessment, see what we can do to eke out some cost savings through technology. I don't know that y'all are, I don't know how many cameras you guys have. I don't think that y'all have any new cameras. Well, you're in luck because we're the third largest integrator in the United States. So we buy Debo. Pardon me? They are very widely available. We have a stock center in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we can remote into your cameras. Okay. So when we hit the word go from you guys, there is a transition team that will take effect. We will come out here and interview the guards that want to stay on site. We'll put them through our own training. We'll make sure that they can pass our IPAT test if they're carrying a gun. We put them through the Securitas orientation. Make sure that they have everything that they need. Go ahead. So we look at the incumbent personnel, then we look at the newly assigned personnel. So you'll have some that want to stay, there's some that will not want to stay, and they'll go through our assessments. Unfortunately, some may not make it through our assessments because we have very strict guidelines with our company. And then we'll have meetings with the board.
Entry notice off.
Here's some of our successes. We have Mannheim. We have Carlton Woods, which is not too far from here. So we've put in cameras out there. We've done gate access control, visitor management. We do the Texan football stadium, which is NRG, Stablewood, Greenway Plaza, Woodforest Banks. You'll see us at all the Woodforest Banks, Igloo. So when we do the transition, we want, when it happens, for it to be as seamless as possible. So we will have a team that's dedicated, and when we come out here, it'll happen at midnight or at 6 o'clock in the morning. We hope that there is no disruption. There may be a few people that you see one day and then you don't see the next day because they are not following through with the new transition, but you will find it to be seamless. When you have an open post out here, I don't know how you guys fill it. I don't know if you pay overtime, but we don't. We will fill those posts and the budget will be set. So you have, you can count on what your budget numbers are, which is important. I mean, all right, go ahead, Angel. So our applicant pool acceptance, only about 10 to 12% of the people that apply with our company make it through the process. That's because we have strict guidelines. We do the pre-employment drug screen, the criminal background checks, and that is the actual list of things we verify before they come to work for us. Okay. Benefits. We have a 401. We take care of them on their health care. We don't charge them anything for the uniforms. We also have a lot of certifications. We've found that because of the tight labor market, there's a lot of things that we need to provide to make them want to stay with our company. We have direct deposit. I don't know how you guys pay them right now, but they get paid weekly and it's direct deposit. We find that some of our competitors make them come pick up their checks, which is just, to me, it's not a good way to do business. They have free life insurance, 10,000 policy that we pay for. We have scholarships. Go ahead, Angel. Go, one more. All right, so this year we have decided to we started in January 1st, Livongo, which is basically a healthcare program. It provides the strips for diabetes. Apparently that's very expensive. If you're making $12 an hour and you're having to pay $300 a month for your diabetes strips, that's a lot. We cover that cost. We have a MATA, which is kind of like a personal health coach. Go ahead, next one. So the feedback that we got on this is we rolled this out last September, and we tried to see how many participants would really like to join this. So you can see we had about 447 participants. By January, we had 2,600, and we were finding that they were actually losing weight and becoming healthier, and it's a free service. Go ahead. Then we have Smart Dollar. We find that a lot of people don't know how to manage their money. We offer free advice, free services, so that they can save money and learn how to budget, 401, educating. Go ahead. Well, go back if you can go back one more. Okay, so we provide 1,000 scholarships at no cost to the employee per year. Your district manager has to nominate them, and if they so choose to sign up, then they get a 2-year degree. They do pay 10%, but we take that out of their checks. Then we offer 10 Bachelor of Science scholarships. Same thing, 90% is paid for by us. Goes back to the Starbucks footprint. That's how they're able to keep their employees, and so we found that that's very successful for us as well. Go ahead. Benefits, go ahead. Okay, so now getting into technology. We have a device called Securitas Vision. We don't like to do anything on paper. We want it to be all through our device. It looks like a phone. It is a phone, but it also takes pictures. Your daily activity reports, your post orders, your incident reports, your exception reports are all done on this device. If we're doing the mobile patrol, you'll be able to know exactly where the driver is because it's geo-fenced. And this is provided in with our services. Go ahead. This is some of the stuff that they can do. This is technical. Go ahead. This is some of the reporting that they can do. If you want them to, let's say, stop by Mrs. Jones's house to make sure that her garage was down, they can make a report that it was done, and it can go to this device. It stores to the cloud. This is our higher level stuff. Go ahead. Then we have Securitas Response Services. So last year when we had Harvey, we had 500 officers that came in from outside this area. We want our officers to get home with their families and be able to evacuate if they do. So we have the support that you guys need in the event that there is a hurricane. We'll have people here to help with the association. And trust me, Twin Lakes, Lakes of Eldridge, many of those went down Cinco Ranch during the Harvey. And so a lot of people's homes were exposed because they weren't there and the looters were. So this is a service that we have. So it's one call and you're done. We have the infrastructure. Go ahead. It's our SOC center in Charlotte, North Carolina, where all the calls are routed through. Go ahead. That's it.
One of the big things we talked about is one of the things people like is the vacation watch program. That if new battery. That if a property owner's out of town, and right now we have an officer that'll go and walk around their house, and all those things that we had talked about that are community focused. Go back through what you guys do and how you've done it in other communities as far as ensuring that that level of service and what the property owners get. We talked about if there's an emergency call, the officers will be, CPR AED certified. They'll still go to the property. They'll still go to the home and await EMS. They'll still do all of those things that we're getting now. Same discussion we had before.
Yes, Justin. First, good evening to everyone.
Closer.
Closer?
There you go.
Okay. Just in customer service related, our officers, we train them because we train our officers like they are not law enforcement. Our customer service is our real business. In other gay communities, I got HOA association. We got, for example, visitor management, and then the resident can notify us when they are on vacation, for example, and our officer is constantly checking that house or giving out, pick up the newspaper, because we don't have you are out a week, and then we see a newspaper in the front, and that means no one is in the house, and we take care of that. Some funny I mentioned to the brand last time we met is like now we know most all the dogs in the community, and because some people call us and says, hey, you see my dog on that area, and the patrol is constantly, and we know, oh, this is the dog for Mr. Flores, and we says to the resident, yes, he's in this street and this street. All our officer can be is certified by CPR. They know how to do CPR or respond in any emergency, in case of emergency. Emergency like we can handle as a CPR, but we are not certified like any EMS or paramedics. That means we cannot go to that level. But the officers can provide assistance and then run the protocol with the EMS department, 911, or the police department. We respond, for example, when alarms go off, but we don't enter to the property inside the house. Normally, it's an alarm is activated and we receive the call, or the resident call us. You can check that. We send the patrol, we dispatch the patrol, turn around. If we see something suspicious, like it happened to us a month ago in one of my community, the officers saw the back door open. Immediately, we look down the area, call the police. The police in Woodland area respond really quick. They're there probably in 3 minutes or less. I don't know how is the response in this area, but the idea is the officer provide assistance to the appropriate agency. We says to the officers, if this is a fire, we call the fire department. If this is a break-in or something, we call the police department. If it's in a medical emergency, we call the right person, like EMS. But we are trained our officer to respond and work together. Most of the things I do, for example, on Woodlands is I met with all the department, like I meet the fire departments, the police department, and start establish a relationship. Because sometimes we can plan in a tour inside the community, as I say, if we got an emergency in this area, how we move the fire truck quickly to this area, we can open this, and this. That means this is part of the transition. It's an action plan. Constantly we're working together, not only with the community, also with the agency who can respond in the area. Any other question? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Do you have a side-by-side break? Oh, it went. There it is. Do you have a side-by-side breakdown of what it's going to cost, whether we do it in-house or outsourcing, and also what we get via insourcing and outsourcing?
You got that number?
So yes, so we've done that, JD.
Mm-hmm.
So service-wise, side by side, we've matched pretty much every. I don't think there's anything that we can do now that we're not that isn't on their list. And the side by side at the end of the day, budget savings is about $366,000. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's streamlining a process. It's doing. We have to take infrastructure, and when we add in the softwares we have to purchase, the gate entry systems we need to purchase, the outdated security software we need to purchase, it wraps in with their program. So yeah, when we did the budget analysis, where's Ed? Oh, so here. Ed did the budget. Ed's actually the one that did the analysis on that.
So the one caveat I would say, so it saves about $250,000 like for like. What we don't have today is a chief that we absolutely need. So I added in $100,000 for chief that we would have to hire if we didn't do them. So that gets to his $350,000.
What did we pay for a chief previously? Ed, could you break that down for the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question is this, on a side-by-side comparison, to be completely honest,
Yes.
if you ask the previous board what we paid for a chief of police, add that actual hard number in with the true cost, compare it to what they're doing true cost, then can we do a printout and can we get it out where we can all look?
That's what I did.
Where can we?
Where is it?
Well, we'll be happy to. I can share it.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
please
did
do.
you use actual numbers from what the past board in the past?
Those
I
don't
use-
matter. It's what costs are today.
I used the 2019 costs.
A chief of police difference?
It's not police, it's security.
Okay. When was the last time we actually had a chief of security on payroll? Take that number and then add whatever three.
I added 100,000.
What was the past chief of security? Just
Mike, you're comparing, but it doesn't matter. It's what it costs today.
I'm asking a question, so I'd like to know. Less than 100,000.
Well, okay, but still, it's
Well,
the same.
We took the actual numbers when we did the last proposal. Mark Soderberg ran the last average 6 weeks numbers, and we used those for what the staffing levels as we are today. With the amount of staff we've got, the amount of patrols we've got, we use the same numbers we have today. Yes, ma'am.
Richard would.
Rick? Well, but we were still filling the hours. We were just filling them with overtime. We're short 4. But we're still filling those slots, but we're filling them with supervisors and overtime.
My name is Richie Tibbetts. I'm at 174 Don's Edge. I am a member of Security Committee, and hello. My name
There
is
you go.
Richard Tibbetts. I live at 174 Don's Edge. I'm a member of the Security Committee. For those of you who weren't here earlier, and the whole idea of outsourcing has never been brought to our committee. The last time we had a board member in our committee, they said nobody wants to outsource. So, as a point of record, that's where we are. I appreciate that you came here and tried to sell the size of your company. And I appreciate that you think that that's an advantage. The one thing I know about large organizations is that bureaucratically, they're very top heavy. And something has to support all the, did you just shake your head at me? No. Do you have a large bureaucracy in your company, or is it really thin? Do you have a pyramid, or do you have a
We're very
pancake?
flat.
Uh-huh.
That's why I brought up the fact that you have your district manager, you have your area vice president, and then you go right to our region president.
Okay. So a question similar to JD's, but reframed in a slightly different way. I know that you're not going to bid on a contract like this unless there's a sizable profit in it. I understand companies just don't do that. Yeah. And I know that one of the ways that you're going to make money is you're going to start paying the security guards that are running around our neighborhood, taking care of all of us and managing our gate. You're going to start paying them $12 an hour, at least according to you. And then you're going to start, if they have diabetes, give them free strips or something like that. The question I have for you is, are you prepared to tell the neighborhood how much you're going to spend inside the gate versus how much we're going to pay you?
Yes, because that's exactly what I gave him. I put down the wages and I put down the bill rate. And then in between there, we pay FUI, SUI, general liability. We pay all those things, including the uniforms, their health care benefits, everything. And after we're done, we have 3 to 5% left that we make a profit on. You want your vendor to make money. You don't want them not to make money.
I agree with that. I'm surprised that you would take a contract if there was only 3% profit in it.
That's how Securitas is. We make money on the volume because we are big. It's 800-pound gorilla.
See, I would have figured you made money on paying your security guards $12 an hour.
We pay whatever the market will pay. So if he wanted to pay them, for instance, Carlton Woods, they pay a lot more money than you guys, what we proposed.
Oh, that's interesting because they told us we were going to get the same thing Carlton Woods was getting.
They are.
Same service. We didn't talk
But
pay
you just
rates.
said you pay the people at Carlton Woods more money.
Carlton Woods pays more. The service level is the same. We're saying that's the same level of service that they provide there.
Now,
How much more do they pay?
I don't know. I don't really want to get into the exact amounts because they are private residents. But I understand, but I'm not broadcasting what those numbers are. I mean,
So this is about the service. Go ahead, man. Here.
I got the next mic.
She's been trying. She's been
Oh, okay. I
Just
tried
wanted
on the
to
last
know,
meeting too.
wanted to know how many subdivisions, gated communities like April Sound that you service in the Houston area.
Your size is a really big one. So Park Lakes would probably be the closest one I could say that we're near on that size. We no longer have that contract. So I would say it's like Stablewood, Carlton Woods, Cinco Ranch, Twin Lakes, Lakes on Eldridge, but none of them are in the size. They're gated. They have a guard. Probably about 10 to 12.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I have a question for you. Okay, your service stays here 24/7. The cars stay here. How many cars are
They're
assigned?
going to be your cars.
Okay, what I'm asking you is, are they going to access other? I lost the mic.
No, you're there.
Like, are they going to access other neighborhoods, or are they just going to be our neighborhood? Because I know some of the contract deals, they're responsible for running calls, in the other area.
We have a mobile patrol division, but that's not in this proposal. And we're using your vehicle, so we would not leave the area. And to that point, with our vision device, with geofence, so you could tell exactly where they are when they're there.
Okay, do the guards get more than $12 an hour in Carlton Woods?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Because honestly,
they just
for $12 an hour, that's what you're going to get as a $12 an hour employee. You can make 75 cents more at HEB being a cashier.
You have a very good point with that. And that's why I brought up all the benefits. You can go to Buc-ee's right now and make $14 an hour. You can even make $17 an hour at Buc-ee's. You can go to Chick-fil-A and make $15. You're inside, you're off on Sundays. We completely get that. It's whatever the market is going to be. If the parents want to pay more, we can certainly pay them.
And the bottom line of it is if we've got to hire a chief, and if we have to increase our liability insurance, and if we've got to, as we're learning, provide them with their weapons, provide them with their ammo, if we have to start paying all these things, benefits are going to come down anyway. We have to, we can't go to $1.3 million next year in a security budget. It's not there. So to get that level of training, something's got to cut somewhere. So to keep paying,
Well, you're not a security officer or a policeman or anything, and you use an issued gun. If it's protecting you, you buy it. You don't. An officer that does their job, they own their own weapons and stuff. So we're not buying it.
But how do we know what they're carrying? How do we know what ammo they're carrying? How do we know that it's compliant with security law?
With our company, we'll be supplying everything. They don't supply it because we want to make sure they've not done anything. They're not using hollow tips. They're not changing the weapon in itself. There'll be an issue from Securitas, and it'll be from the vendor that's been vetted. But if there's an accident, you're on the hook right now. If there's an accident with us, you've got a big company behind you that's going to take care of you.
Here we go. This
Well, they do. And look at the Trayvon Martin situation.
Here we go.
That property owners association took a hit.
Hi, Yvette Tomeo, Summer Win. My concern is that we know who are. Okay.
Here you go. Here you go.
We're all talking about money, but there's other things to consider. And part of them is that we know our security people here. We don't know who you're bringing in. We don't know who's going to be here. I don't know what your turnover is. You could have somebody here this week and have 3 other people that we don't know next week. And that's very upsetting.
What are you paying them now?
We have several that are making 18 and 20, and then we have.
Okay, so $12 is on the low end. The supervisor makes way more. And the site leads. Well, if they're driving a car, our regulations are they have to be over than 25 if they're driving a car.
When I joined the security committee several years ago, in our very first meeting, we had our senior security staff come into the meeting, and the one thing they asked us to do was to pay entry-level security guards more money. They said to us, "Don't pay us more money. We've been here for years. don't pay us more money. You have to offer them. At the time, we were offering them $13.65, and they said you have to offer more money if you're going to get the kind of people that we want in here. And when somebody comes into a meeting and tells me, don't give me the money, give it to somebody else so we can get quality people, it makes me, that was several years ago, and I think our board just said prices have gone up. So, you know, a lot of us have deep concerns about how this is all going to work out. A lot of us feel like we have deep concerns that the board's cutting us out of decision making here. But I have real concerns when the people that I know, right, and I've known for 15 or 20 years, one of them took when my aunt passed away in my parents' house, he was there and he helped my parents through that event. Okay, our neighborhood has emotional attachments to these people who are our friends and members of our community. All right, we have what we like to believe we have a fancy neighborhood with white glove service. Okay, when our security guards that we've known forever say, don't give me more money, help me get better people around me, and then you come in years later and say, we're going to offer way less than that.
We're not offering way less than that. We are on a proposal here. We give you our numbers. If you want to pay more, we're certainly happy to pay them more because you're going to get a higher quality guard.
And I agree with you. And I agree with you. And one of the gripes that I have with this board right now is what the board won't tell you is that with our crumbling infrastructure and all the new expenses that are crowding out our ability to pay for our services, we may have to dig a little bit in our pockets and pay a little more for the neighborhood experience that we all bought into. But this board is not offering us the option to pay more and keep our security. This board is not offering us options at all.
So we can increase the rate. We can increase that, and we can go up to 16, 17, 18 bucks an hour. It's just, they give a bill. We can tell them what we want to pay.
Well,
they add a bill rate.
Let's take them out of the equation, and let's talk about going to the community and saying, your choice is, we can keep security, but we have to change the bylaws and we have to raise the dues, or we have to go to another structure. Let's be honest with people and tell them what the real choice is here.
But it's not. It's more than just that, though. That's the point we've been trying to make. Okay, stop. We'll end this again. We're not going to. The point we're trying. Do we want to do this again? So what I'm trying to say is, it's more than just wages. What nobody's realized, and everybody from our legal counsel to everybody that we've talked to says, you are insane for keeping this in-house. The liability to this association is insane.
Yeah, and I agree with that. However,
and doing an LLC is still subbing it out. It doesn't matter. We're still, if we do it just like the marina is.
Can I ask an important question before y'all get in a big argument? Who determines whether we're getting a higher class of employee? What kind of, who's determining this? What kind of record do they have? Like,
from what I can tell, they haven't even, oh, you're talking about within our security now?
No, I'm talking about their company determining that we get a better class than a $12 an hour person.
The way she was describing her impression of our security guards, not, you know, sliding their training and sort of thing, we do have issues. We do have issues, right? And they need to be addressed. Okay?
No, I'm talking about her company. Who determines whether they're a higher quality or
and that's
not?
a question. Are these level 2 or level 3s that you're in the
what are your qualifications to determine that?
Slides that was up there had one of the 12 different background screens and assessments that they go through. So, I mean, they have to do a lot before they can come out to your property. And y'all keep thinking we're not going to hire you have right now. We would love to hire them.
Yeah, but they may not want to work for you.
Well, if they don't want to work for us, they don't want to work for us. But
that's based on the contract, JD. That's what we're saying is we determine, we set what the rates are.
Job descriptions. We have plenty of sites that pay less. We have plenty that pay more.
Can I ask you this?
Specific.
I think what they're trying to say is this is a community. It's not a job. It's a community.
If you're in Beaumont, chances are that it's a $10 wage. It'll go up from 10 all the way up to 17, depending on the plant. It's depending on the market.
JD,
JD.
You know, I have no doubt.
On the client.
I have no doubt that
Shit.
Securitas is paying you people as little as they can. The question I'm asking is, when in your proposal, are you proposing to staff our team with level 2 or level 3?
There is 24/7 for level 3. The rest is not going to be armed.
Why do we need somebody armed standing in a gate?
Because of the quality.
When? No. It doesn't matter. Again, there's a point, folks, where we have to look at, like, we had an officer not too long ago pull somebody out of their vehicle at gunpoint in the front drive.
Okay.
No, they didn't.
No.
Everybody around there freaked out and went, whoa, stop, and let him go.
You're not authorized to do that. A cop
The-
officer is not authorized to do that.
Yeah.
Much less a level 3 security guard.
And that's what we're faced with. We don't need somebody standing at that window carrying a gun.
What are you going to do? Someone's going to intercede Aunt Granny and you're going to shoot them because they didn't stop?
No, they keep the bad
Can't do
guys
that.
out. They keep the bad guys out.
No, that's a misnomer.
It wasn't the person in the gun pulled it. The security officer pulled somebody out of. They didn't like something. They weren't justified at all.
Yeah, but it's your license that it's happening.
Yeah.
It's your license is happening. And if you got somebody that's carrying a gun and you got somebody yanking them out, they're going to get shot. And it's happening on your watch, on your insurance, on your liability.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, look at the Trayvon Martin situation. The POA got nailed on that because it doesn't matter. It hasn't happened to us until it's happened to us, and then it's too late. And when everybody we've talked to, including our own legal counsel, says you're nuts for having this.
Can I?
99 years of tradition only hampered by progress. Laws change, things change. Go ahead, ma'am.
I have a question.
Okay. Hold on.
I have a question. I've recently read an article by former April Sound community officer Delane Potter. He very articulately described the benefits of armed security. So if I'm being robbed at my house because we don't have armed officers, and it takes CPD, Conroe Police Department, he said anywhere from 8 to 20 minutes to respond. I have no time.
The person on the street will be armed. The supervisor,
She just said,
the gate people we're talking about. We have factored in an armed person on the road. The patrol person will be armed.
and you're just talking one person.
The patrol,
Sir, I would like a breakdown of what we have now, what security officers, how many that are on the shift now that are armed versus what this outfit is going to offer. No, we cannot have that. Do you see what 105 looks like now? And the crime across the way. Has anybody ever looked and evaluated what the crime is across the way? You're crazy to take away armed security. That is the major deterrent.
If we have
in this
one armed
community.
security, who is their backup?
Excuse me. And these
who's their backup now when
man,
at night it's one lady in the guard shack and one guy on the street?
We're not advocating for the status quo. What we're asking for is for the board to support a reorganization of security, which is
CPDs are
long
backup.
overdue. And I can tell you from inside the security committee, every one of those security guards is clamoring for order and organization. Every single one of them is clamoring for order and organization, and they're not getting it.
And these individuals have been, the security officers here have been dedicated. You talk about retention. What community has security officers that have been here for 20 years?
We have several.
Now, please, this is well known that a lot of people move to April Sound because of the 24-hour man gate and security. We don't have fancy cameras and all this technology stuff. And all
We need
this
it.
concern-
We should have it. We've been
But
asking for
we
it for a while. It's
want-
not that hard to get.
Talk about your budgets and stuff.
But we don't-
Talk about your budgets, and you're saying that it's going to cost this, it's going to cost that. You can do more with technology, and you're not even thinking about all.
Technology's not going to save me if I got somebody breaking into my house.
With all
So,
due respect,
I am-
Securitas does not have a
I'm
lock
very-
on technology.
All
It's
right,
not
wait,
the only
hold on.
provider.
One at a time.
We bring it. And you don't have it now. We can bring it. We can bring you some great ideas.
We can bring it in. There's not an issue getting it in.
You know, Brett, why can't we do our own ad cameras and everything? All you keep talking about is liability. This community has been in existence for 40 years. I've never heard of any issue.
So all it takes is one.
You're worried about what if.
Well, absolutely, we're worried about what if. Welcome to the new world. Everybody's
You know,
worried about what if.
Why don't you just wait and let the community decide
Hear, hear.
what we want?
This was never an issue in any campaign. It was never a referendum. The people were totally surprised by this. No one has ever voted on this issue.
And show me a community that's gone to it that has. So, any other questions that are related to their services?
I have the mic, sorry.
Afterwards?
I just want to say, this is my second board meeting. I was appalled at the behavior last month at the board meeting. Homeowners Association information meeting. We need to let these people speak their mind. The board is trying to save money. If we want to pay them more, we pay them more, and then we don't save as much money. It's that simple. It's a money issue. It's a security issue. It's a liability issue. It seems simple, and I feel like, again, the squeaky wheels are getting all the voice in this, and it's just a very straightforward thing. We all want to be secure. I've lived here for many years. I don't know anybody at the security gate. I don't need to know any of them at the security gate. I just need to feel secure in the neighborhood. We need the best people at the gate and driving around the neighborhood that know how to do their job, that can help in an emergency. It's just that simple. We don't need to be paying a crazy amount of money to get the same service for a big savings. And if you want to pay them more, we pay them more. We pay them way more, and we just don't save $250,000 or $300,000. Maybe we only save $150,000, but we get the better people. So, stop arguing and just listen to what the idea really is, and don't think of it as the way it's been done for 40 years, because we don't need to be thinking about that. We need to be thinking forward, and people coming into this neighborhood are seeing us gripe about every issue on Facebook and every feed that's out there, and it's making us look bad. I mean, it makes us look really bad and very decisive in this community.
Since we've departed from direct questions to Securitas, I'm going to give y'all some inside information from the security committee. Earlier in the year, we had a meeting with Tom Johnson, who has for 20 years or so, 15 years, been training all of our officers. Tom is the most highly licensed security trainer in the area. And in the meeting, we realized, it became clear to the security committee that we have no organization. We have these vehicles, we don't have a fleet manager. We don't have one person who makes sure that all the cars get their oil changed. We don't have one person who buys copy paper. We don't have job descriptions for every position. So it became clear to us that we needed a book. We needed an organizational book. This neighborhood grew up sort of organically, and we got caught behind the times, but now we need a book and we need organization. And I asked Tom, I said, Tom, can you write that book? Are you the kind of guy who's qualified to write it? And he said, I am. And I said, what would you charge us to do that? And he said, nothing. And I said, nothing? And he realized he'd made a mistake, and he said, I make a lot of money. I'm expensive. He said, but I would write it for April Sound. I would write it for nothing. And I said, that's fantastic. What do you need from us? He said, we need a mission statement. Just tell us what you want security to do. Tell us what duties you want them to do, right? So the security committee wrote a mission statement where we described what we felt the community wanted out of security. We described what we felt our security guards wanted out of their employment. We wanted to be the kind of company that people work for, right? That live here a long time, work a long time. And we passed that up to the board months ago. Never went anywhere. Never got any feedback. Never got anything. 3 weeks ago, when I first started hearing about outsourcing, I said, what happened to that mission statement? Ed, what'd you tell me?
So it's been circulated to the board.
You said I'd never seen it before.
No, I said it's been circulated.
You said I'd never seen it before yesterday. Ed Kelly said to me, I've never seen this. I don't know where it came from. What I'm telling you folks is that our security needs a hard reset. Our guards are clamoring for organization. One of the difficulties that Delane Potter had is Delane is a very by-the-book guy. He just wanted to know what to do. Nobody told him what to do, and when he did something they didn't like, they'd yell at him.
You have to have two things to run a department. You have to have a rules manual and an SOP, which is a standing operating procedure, because that's 40 years talking here. You talked about technology. That's investigative. The camera sees that it was Jimmy Joe. An armed man is preventive. It keeps it from happening.
I sort of agree with you, but I would say that if we had the high-definition cameras that we've been asking for
the camera,
wait,
camera's
please.
not going to stop anything.
Well, please. If we had the cameras looking out at the exit, right? If we had more present cameras, there's a deterrent. The deal about April Sound isn't that somebody can't get in here, right? Everybody knows somebody can get in here. The issue with April Sound is, why would you bother? Like if you were a monster who was going to go snatch kids, why would you do business here, right? You'd go somewhere else and do it. So the point of security is to make it as unappealing as possible to do bad behavior in the neighborhood.
All right.
Cameras are part of that.
We've got some other people that want to ask questions. Let's give other people the floor.
I just want somebody to give us a clear-cut answer. We keep talking about liability, but what exactly is going to happen, and what protection does the current security have versus what Securitas has against if one of our officers pulls somebody out, does harm, shoots somebody, or even on the EMS side goes and picks somebody up, and 12 hours later they die from a head bleed. I want to know what protection we have now and what protection y'all offer and what can happen to us now versus what y'all have.
But
Apparently in the past people have gone and picked people up off the ground from falls. That's a huge liability.
the reality is like I'm agree with the gentleman, like training is the key of success in everything.
With the fire.
Yeah. The key of success is training. That's why we include the training, and we constantly train our people physically, and we train our people dealing with the different situations. When we says we pass the liability, when we studied a high-risk situation, we says you delegate or you pass down the liability. But the reality is, like if someone says, we never eliminate liability. It's impossible. No matter what action plan, what plan you got, you as a community or a private company, always we got a risk or limit of liability.
So, Angel, let me rephrase the question he's asking. What they're asking is, if we keep security in-house and one of the officers harms somebody, what's the liability to the association itself and the property owners? If it's outsourced, what's the what liability shifts off of the association? What's the reduction in that risk to the individual property owner by not having it here and having it with you guys? Is that the question? Right. What happens to us now if something happens? What's the exposure to the association if it's out?
So right now, if you're talking about a headshot wound or somebody's gone to their house to pick them up and they fall, it's all on the homeowners association, every bit of it. So they come and they sue April Sound, they sue the officer, they sue the board, they sue everybody that's involved. The difference between them suing you, because that's still a possibility, is the gentleman was pointing out, that they'll still include you. But there is a certain amount of liability you guys have already asked for in the proposal, which I will say is a large amount. It's at least $5 million per occurrence, by the way. $5 million is a lot per occurrence. Well, you've got insurance and you've got liability. Those are two different things. So if I am a security guard and I decide, you know what, I want to come in here and burn a fire. So I come in here and I torch the place. All right, our insurance will come in here and take care of that. Then it will pay for that. The liability, though, for what you say, well, how could you be so negligible? Then our liability will kick in, and then we will negotiate a number up to $5 million per occurrence. But do you think that burn was worth $5 million? Probably not. So I don't know what you're asking for. We're an $11 billion company, so you've got the money behind us, deep pockets.
I have a
We have
question
one
real
back
quick.
here.
Yeah.
So no, the answer to that is that's actually a yes and no question. One is if they're driving down the street and they see something just as they're driving down the street, yes, they are covered. If somebody picks up the phone and calls security and has them go to your house, in the Good Samaritan Act, if you read it and you read at the bottom, it says as long as there's no duty to act and duty to respond. Once that phone call happens and they come to you, they are no longer covered. There is if you're going to a medical call. Doesn't matter. And an attorney would eat that alive. We got a question back here.
I'm Tony Cipolio, and I'm at Lakeview Circle. And I agree with the lady here that says it shouldn't be this difficult. It should be fairly simple. If we need more options, present more options. If it's a higher cost, let somebody ask us and we can say yay or nay. But I don't think I've been asked. I don't think I've been given the options. I would certainly say, let's pay more and get more. I would certainly do that. But I haven't been asked, and I think that's the issue that I have a problem with. That's it.
Okay. You had a question?
Yes. Can you hear me? A question. Can you clarify, did you say that your security personnel are trained in CPR?
That was a requirement of the proposal, of the RFP.
So they would be trained in CPR?
Yes.
CPR and AED. So if you recall,
Yes.
Security, what would they do if they were called? For what? Well, I don't know. It's medical situation. Say, where
It's like loss of life.
my husband's choking.
Wait, the CPR, if I got a CPR license, it's because I see something here, probably I can attend. But if you call, that's a service. That's not the officer don't respond in that way. Like I said, I'm checking in my house, the officer, and they take care as a CPR. If you are in front of me, we are something, I take care, or the officer take care. But if no, it's like a calling an EMS.
I do have a question about that. When you talk about liability is always a measurement of risk, right? When you talk about how horrific, which is something like sideways and officer trying something in the head, in a way that you violated the truth, right? Angel, how long have you been with the company?
9 years now this year. No, nine. Yes.
How many of the people that work under you or trained have been sued?
Direct with me, I got like a 4, if I remember.
Out of how many people?
On the what?
Out of how many people have you got at times?
Normally, a district manager maintains a number of 3,000 hours. That's an average of 150 officers.
Okay, so we're looking at like less than 2%. About the average. All right. Hold on, we got another question over here.
My name is Jay Holland. I live at one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Need your mic.
I'm Jay Holland. I live at 165 April Wind Drive East. We keep talking about liability. Even though you have the liability policy, he is still responsible, or the board is responsible because they hired you. I am responsible because I am a member of the POA. So we're all responsible. So get off this kick about liability. We'll all be liable.
Well, we are, but the level of it goes away.
No.
The level of it goes way down. They take
That depends on the court.
But the difference is it's, civil liability, somebody can trip and fall and we get sued civilly. We do. But the veil in the middle of it is they're going to take the majority of the hit and they're going to be able to defend that. They've got, a lot larger law department than we do. They're going to be the ones that defend that case. In a civil litigation, everybody gets sued.
but we cut the risk of that down exponentially by being able to go in and say, yes, we hired a trained security firm, here's what they did, and well, it falls back on everybody. Right now, $1 million.
The question is, how much would $10 million cost us?
But it doesn't matter. Well, but
How about this? Do either one of you know how much $5 million would cost us?
no, because we got to look at the. So let's go 5 million, 10 million, 50 million. Why don't we? At what point? We have to. There has to be a point at which the cost benefit has to switch.
But we don't know what the cost is.
Doesn't matter. Think about, like Ed already said, we have to factor in another $100,000 a year to hire a chief with benefits.
This is what I'm telling you, people.
Increase the
This is all about money, and I wish this board would just ask the people to pay more.
It is about money.
We're
It's
in a
about
neighborhood with 40-year-old infrastructure, okay? We all like to believe we live in a very nice neighborhood, and a lot of us would be willing to invest to keep this neighborhood nice. I would just like the board to ask us if we would like that option. And you know what? If the people voted it down, I'd be fine with that. Then I wouldn't be the squeaking wheel. I'm not interested in being the squeaking wheel. What I'm interested in is finding out what the neighborhood wants to do with what is the largest investment in most of these people's lives. The deal is we have $750 million worth of real estate in this neighborhood. We have almost $1 billion worth of real estate in this neighborhood. If we make some decision about security that's going to change our property values by 1% or 2%, now we're talking about $15 million.
Yeah, but you're there again. We can't talk about hypotheticals for liability, but you want to talk about hypotheticals for property value. There's nothing that says property values aren't what they are because we have our own internal.
I'm not
security
talking
department.
about hypotheticals. What I'm saying is you don't know and I don't know, and I think everybody in the neighborhood should be given a chance to vote based on their hunch.
All right. Any other questions? Oh. A tiny one?
Hello, I'm Michelle Martin, 87 Summers Wind. I just didn't know if you were aware that there has been a petition given and a special election called to recall 4 of the 7 trustees that are on the POA, and if you are comfortable signing a contract knowing that this is going on.
Yes, I have gotten the million emails from everybody. I'm quite well aware of it. So
sure,
I am.
Am I good?
What? Oh.
Why was the security committee not consulted about this? Or why were they not consulted about what y'all were doing? You've got a security committee. Why did they not know about this?
Because we went out to industry professionals, insurance risk people, legal counsel. The problem we've had with a lot of things is that we've had things done in volunteer capacity that's not right. You know, how long have we been providing security service up here? Had something happened up here and we weren't licensed for it? We were having people get in their car and drive. That's not a hypothetical. That was happening on most Friday nights.
Why did you not consult the security committee and let them help you with these decisions and get some input from the community? Why do you have them?
We
What is your
didn't
answer?
consult with them. We didn't. The board took it. The board sat with industry professionals. We haven't had any forward movement. We've been doing things outside of the law for years.
No forward movement? This committee has been meeting
How
and
come
doing
how
things.
come the committee didn't know that we didn't have the license to provide service? How come Tom Johnson didn't know we had the license to provide service? Because they all said they didn't. Tom Johnson said he didn't know we were providing service.
Why did you not talk to the committee?
Yeah.
You will not answer that question.
I just said we didn't.
Why did you not?
We didn't. Doesn't matter why.
Yes, it does
doesn't.
matter.
No, it
yes,
doesn't.
it
We
does
didn't.
matter.
We didn't consult with them.
Why?
Because it's not The boards,
Why?
we consulted with industry professionals, not volunteers. We consulted with people that know this industry and work in this industry.
There's a
They
reason you
don't
have
work-
committees
they
that
don't work in
support
this
the
industry.
board. There's a reason for them.
All right, Greg.
My turn, Brett. Sorry.
I know. Don't go off. It's a question.
I'm going to be very careful here. But at the end of the day, this community wants a referendum to make sure that we vote on what impacts this neighborhood most importantly. Correct? Everybody?
Some say yes, some say no.
Everybody stand up if you would
So
like
then
to
we
vote
get into, so then we
on
get into,
the-
okay, so then what
Can I
happens when
speak?
we get
Brett,
into
Brett, Brett, Can I
50-50?
speak? You haven't allowed me to finish, please. Thank you. I'm going to hurry. If you didn't hear me, I believe the community would like a vote and a referendum to make sure that we have the best interest of the community, not for individuals. Is that correct?
So
that's all I'm
how
trying
is
to
this
say.
benefiting, who's this benefiting besides the community?
How? What? You just said, who is this?
Who doing this?
It should be benefiting the community.
It is, everything
That's-
is about the
That's
community.
the priority, right?
It's all about benefiting the community.
Then why can your 4 people dictate to 3,400 homes? Help me understand that.
28, but close enough.
Okay, semantics. Let's go.
Okay, so we go through all that, we end up at a 50-50. Now what do we do?
No, that never happens. How's that
It's
happen?
happened on everything we put out there. It's come back.
No.
Wait,
Hey, I'll be happy
okay, so then what happens?
if you allow the referendum to happen and we go that far. If it's 51-49 to you, let's go. I'll write my check.
Yeah.
But give the community the chance to vote. Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've worked for security before. I was in sales for security. I can tell you, why are we reinventing the wheel? We have guys here, and I know how these guys think. The ones that have been here years are so loyal to this community. You could give them a raise. You could see about buying a policy to cover the liability. Why are we reinventing the wheel?
We're not reinventing the wheel. We're
Yes,
going
you
what-
are.
We're going out and we're finding people that do this professionally for a living and having them bring their expertise and their training in. And even if we go up and we pay them $18 an hour, and like somebody else said, so we only save $150,000 a year. We're going to people that do this for a living and know how to do it. We haven't had any leadership in that department since the last lady left that was the security chief.
So hire some leadership and
That's
train the
great.
people you have
Then what do
that
we
are loyal to this community.
These people want to take the same people. So where does the budget come from? Where does it come from? Are you guys
But we're going to pay for it anyway.
okay? So if we put in a $200 a quarter security fee or a $400 a quarter per lot to cover enough liability, because the bottom line of it is, and here's the reality of it, and here's the world that I live in every day, and I live it in public safety, and I teach all over the country. If something happens, look up Acadian Ambulance in Lafayette, Louisiana. They had a liability claim, $171 million. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's still one of the largest companies in the world, and civil liability is civil liability. If we get a curtain, if we get a barrier in between us and somebody with their size or somebody else of that size, they take that first hit. They absorb the majority of that. If we come out, so are you ready? Are you ready to write a $60,000 check if we get sued as a POA? Are you prepared for that?
Have you checked?
No. That was a yes or no question. Are you ready to sign a $60,000 per property owner check if something happens? The problem is people are not looking at the fact of liability. You look at the litigation that goes on in this community anyways. Somebody gets shot. it's still a curtain in between us and them. It's training. All right, we're not going to sit. We have to look at it more. We have to look at people that do it professionally. This is what their job is. Just like with the management company. Just like with the management company. It's what people do for a living. Go ahead, Brenda.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead, Brenda.
Do the committees hire people?
Do what?
Do the volunteer committees hire people?
No.
Or does the board?
The manager does. The general manager does. And for security right now, it's Tom Johnson.
But as
and
far
Michelle.
as making contracts and things, is that the board's responsibility or the committee's responsibility?
The board.
Okay, then why should the committees be doing this? Well, you wanted to know why you weren't consulted. But that's his job. Yes, it is. That's his job. He just said
It's the board's job to. And the committee would be the liaison between the security company and the board.
Yeah, he is.
People know what they're doing. That's why
He was also elected. I know you disagree, but he was elected.
They don't. There isn't any. I mean, there's nobody that has background in the industry. So,
as far as the security committee goes, I'll tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see the security committee be empowered to create a working group to try to fix the security we have now, afford us the opportunity to come up with a plan, and then allow us a referendum. And if we have to debate it, we should be able to debate it. But there should be an alternative plan on the table that the people can understand and decide.
all right. Tell you what, we're debating amongst ourselves. For these people that have to drive, does anybody have a question for them?
Yes. Okay, so you talk about your training. All right, what separates your guards from our guards currently?
Well, I've not seen any of your post orders. I don't know what your training for your guards they're currently doing. All I know is that they've got a level 3. Okay, so you've got a level 3. What else goes along with that?
They are currently CPR, AED, level 3.
Actually,
ASP,
all of their
OC.
CPR AED had expired.
Oh, okay.
So
and taser. So
No tasers for us.
do what? Okay.
do any of the
Well, and that's neither here nor there. But so basically, we have the same training in your guys that we do in our current people.
Who manages the training and be sure everyone is continually training or retraining?
Global Executive Protection.
That's your company?
No, that is not my company. That is the training company. Tom Johnson.
He's a resident?
He runs a security school here in Conroe.
How is he related to April Sand? I think that's our question. He's just a contractor.
Yeah.
So technically, we outsource it now. It's just our staff works for us. The management is contract.
Hey, definitely this is a strong debate, and we come in here just to present an option and a proposal. We start with a base proposal because that's the information they gave us. I can prepare a better proposal, a stronger proposal. I can put whatever you want in the numbers, but again, we came to the best with the, we are professional. Again, our officers, I can talk in Woodlands. My officers there have 13, 14 years and 17 years in the same community. When we take the contract, they stay with us because they pass, we take them, and we take care of them. Let me tell you, that officers now, they are agreed be on board with us because they see the strong difference. Because why? Because the board changed every 1 year, 2 years. The committees change 1 year, 2 years, and always are expert in the community, especially in this one. Probably you are a really high, this is a really high-end professional community. I'm pretty sure if I ask the profession of each one, we got a lot of consultants here or people with the knowledge. We came here just to present our service and let them know we are partner. We make partnership with our people. That's what I do in Woodlands. The residents call me when they got an issue. I be there in the community. Tomorrow we got two big events in the houses. I be there. That's why the company against the other one have a district manager, don't have branch manager or regional manager. Because we maintain the portfolio low key because I need to visit my accounts minimum once a week. I need to sit down with my clients or the board in this case, minimum twice a week, every 2 weeks. And I need to lock down that because this is my performance. That's the company measure me on that level constantly. The officer is like someone talk about the turnovers. Our turnovers are really low. Much of the people came to us because they have a strong security with us. The payment, the paychecks, they don't miss hours. We pay the full vacations in a year and they receive a full check with the whole amount of dollars. It's a lot of difference. But again, companies are companies. That's true. And like someone says in cameras, you can have a lot of options in the market in cameras, but it's not only sell the camera, it's not only sell the guard, it's what came behind that. That's why we are here. Identify a strong debate here, including teams. But again, this is not our part. We came here just demonstrate like we can be partnership with you guys. That's it, and help you with any necessity. If this is not the opportunity, thank you for giving us the time. Like you are a professional, we are professional also. That's all I want to say.
Question. How many on a Sunday night, how many officers will be patrolling armed within our community?
It's 24/7.
I beg your pardon?
One officer 24/7.
So there'll be one officer on duty, armed, patrolling our community exclusively. Not.
No, we don't share resources with other communities. Our contract.
So if my wife
one
is
patrol, one in the guardhouse.
if my wife is at home at 2 a.m. in the morning, and someone tries to break into my house, and she calls the front gate, what will be the response time?
The patrol officer who is governing around the community. It's one in the guardhouse, not armed.
And so
another patrol officer.
Okay, so you're telling me that your patrol officer, armed patrol officer, will respond to that call to my wife's house.
That's correct. We assign a cell phone to that unit or to that patrol, and you can call the patrol. You don't need to call the guardhouse. That's why we do it in another community.
So you have the ability to monitor the Conroe Police Department and the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department in the guardhouse.
No, they're on.
Monitor. I didn't say communicate. Monitor.
Nobody can. They're on.
That is not true. Anybody can.
No, but
you can pick it up. You can buy that equipment.
Normally, when we be in an area like this, we establish relationship with the agencies, and then we got a non-emergency number, and then we got an emergency
Okay,
number.
my last comment is to Ed. I think 2019 is not an appropriate database for your comparison. I think you should go back at least 3 or 4 years to pull your database together for cost estimates, and then put it together on a equal by equal basis. 2019 is a little bit of an unusual year, and I think you guys are aware of that. So I think 2019 is a poor basis year.
Staffing levels. We still staff. So the first thing is the first thing is we only have one security. All we're looking at is hours.
Who insures you? Who carries your insurance? Are you self-insured?
Oh, we're self-insurance. We got our own department. The company is self-insurance. We're a public company. We are self-insured.
You self-insured. Okay. And did you say something about?
We got a division. A company is a twin company. We are self-insurance.
Do you have a name for it?
It's their own. They're self-insured.
What's the name of the company?
They're self-insured. Securitas. They're self-insured.
That's the name of their insurance company. This one.
All right. All right. Let's get one more. These guys, let's get one more. Who's got the last question?
I appreciate y'all coming out and making your presentation, but the big problem here is that these are big changes that the board is contemplating making. Maybe they've already made some of them. The problem is they did not come to the people and tell us the problem, and let's have a vote on it, a referendum or whatever you want to call it, a survey telling us what they plan to do, what the problems are, and let us vote on it. They've decided to do it by themselves without any input from the neighborhood. And that's not what they were elected to do.
All right, let's thank these guys again. Thanks everybody for coming out. Jamie, what was the proposed contract? 2 years? No, what was the length? Right, but what is it, a 1 year? What was? Is it an evergreen or is it? Yeah.
Neighbors, we want to thank everyone for coming out. Those of you that are on Facebook or on the phone, appreciate you listening in. Have a good evening. We're done here for the night.